Well, Steeler Nation, welcome back to Steelers Nation Australia. First of all, one big shout out to the Cleveland Browns. You guys stepped up and played good football in the snow. I tell you what, I don't believe, before people write comments, I don't believe it's a trap game. It's not a trap game because that's an AFC North opponent that plays us hard. And right now, just like we have the Ravens number, the Browns have our number. 100%. I don't know how many times they've won in a row against us or how many times they've won in Cleveland, but it seems like they just show up and show out. No matter how tough they play other teams, they really seem to play the Steelers tough inside their stadium. Cleveland Browns versus the Steelers inside Cleveland, they are on fire. That was a tough game. One big shout out to everyone on the live stream today. I know it got a bit crazy and wild. It's nothing personal to anyone in the chat, nothing at all. It's a bar environment. Everyone's worked up. Everyone's such with high anxiety, so fired up. Everyone's on the edge of their seats and like, oh, this said this and that guy said that and she said this. I don't mean it doesn't matter, right? It's everyone's fired up. We're all competitors. We all want our team to win. We're all so passionate about our team, the black and gold Steelers, right? So in the live chat, don't worry about that. It's a bar setting. You high five, you cheers them. You say, don't worry about what was said, and you kind of move on, right? Now, in this game, the Steelers did have a chance to win coming down from 24-19, but would have been very tough to get a moon ball or Hail Mary near the end. The Steelers allowed them to get a 3rd and 6 first down, and they almost had to let them score to have time to go down the field and score. Now, there is a controversy around the Mike Tomlin choice to not be a 4th down and 2. Maybe he was trying to push them back and get a 3rd down. If that's really 2 plays they had to stop, and they got a 3rd down and 7 anyway. Should have Mike Tomlin possibly, denied the penalty? And I thought it was intentional grounding. So they denied the penalty and went for a 4th and 2, possibly get the 1 down, do they run the ball, whatever. We don't know. Okay, we don't know. It's happened. Just like the loss, it's happened. Now, does losing suck? Yes. How long will I stay here for? A couple of hours, maybe 1 or 2 hours. I'll stay here. I'll be annoyed, a bit pissed off. I'll be like, damn, we let one get away from us. It's like, really frustrating that the Steelers lost. Crazy game, though. Crazy, entertaining game. Stressful game. There were moments where Russell Wilson looked really bad. There were moments where he looked really good. There were moments where I'm like, why is Fields out there? They're not allowing him to pass, but there was one time they did allow him to pass. So the offense can be pretty predictable sometimes, and other times you see a nice TD to Calvin Austin, and that was awesome to see, right? Or getting Pickens involved from that sense, right? And we had the Nick Herb big fumble. That comes down to, I've been saying this for years now. It's football. Football happens. It's not built on paper. Myles Garrett did a great job. TJ Watt, didn't get. I don't think he got a sack or whatnot. So they'll try and compare those two. But it's football. It happens. Nick Herbig had a sack on his side. He got the forced fumble recovery. And then we had Corliss Waitman, kicking the ball, shanked it, and gave the Browns a better opportunity to score, right? This happens. Happens in snow games. Happens in away games. The big question is like, is the Steelers season now over? No, it's not over. It's a speed hump. It's an 8-3. It's a humbling experience for this team to get better. The Browns always play us tough. So with Wilson, yes, the first quarter, not the best. He was completing passes, but the O-line and Wilson was holding the ball way too long. The second quarter, they were down by a few points or whatnot. What was it? They were down by, not that one, this one. They were down by, I think, 10-3 in the first half. And it was a really, really quick half, right? And Wilson was overall in total, Wilson was 21-28, 270, 1 TD, but 4 sacks. Holding the ball way too long. You know what I'm saying? So that's you want them to play better. And yes, I know they are a 2-8 team, and Mike Tomlin and this team should take care of a 2-8 team. But they somehow, some way, just like we play the Ravens, being 9-1 over the or 8-1 or 8-2, whatever we are, over the last 10 games, the Browns play us really tough, and they have to respond. But the Steelers shot themselves in the foot. That's why I give respect to the Browns for doing that. They played good football in that sense. They had good run defense. We couldn't run over them. Joel Warren should be going north and south. I don't think he should be handing the ball off to Cordell Patterson going left to right. Najee was getting some plays here and there, but it wasn't like typical Najee football. it almost felt like the Steelers were trying to win the game from the first or second quarter and go for the fourth downs that weren't working, or go for the field goal from 57 yards out in a windy game. So those coaching decisions with Chris Boswell getting a 57-yarder. Yeah, I trust Bos, but in that sense, it's windy, it's snowy. Can he hit that from 57 yards? Really tough. And also in the sense too, on the fourth down plays, are you trying to win the game when you're down by 7 rather than punt the ball away and play defense? Look, maybe there were mistakes from Coach Tomlin and this team in that sense, where they were trying to chip away too much. But this now needs to be, it was a bad game where you can improve, and go and beat the Bengals with some bye. They won 5 games in a row. They got themselves to be 8-2, and now they are an 8-3 team. And the Browns beat us, and now in our division we're 1-1. And we've been talking about this gauntlet, right? The Steelers beat the Commanders, the Steelers beat the Ravens, and now they lose to the Browns, and you're 2-1 in the gauntlet. It's going to be tough football, very tough football, but that's what we signed up for as Steelers fans. It's a heart attack game like that. And it was a crazy game. If you're not a Steelers fan, that would have been an enjoyable game in the snow. I'm sweating in my room because I have to put the curtains down. It's so hot. My neighbors can probably hear me. Don't care. It's a very tough football game in that sense, right? But there was times where the Steelers went up 19-18. If they get some plays and not allow first downs or third down conversions or whatever it may be, or fourth down conversions, then the game is back in our grasp and we can win the game. If you don't punt the ball and shank it and you punt them back 20 to the 20-yard line, then we have possession and we win that game. So it's not just because the Browns were a 2-8 team and they're a really shit team or whatever it may be, and oh my goodness, it's a Tomlin trap game. Don't believe in it. It's a tough environment to go to a divisional house. And yes, Tomlin's record now is like 0-6 in divisional games. That is going into their away game, and we're like 0-8 or something like that. So for our program, for our franchise, it does look like the Steelers can't go on a Thursday on a short night. But I wouldn't mind seeing other stats too for other teams doing this. The Steelers can't go on a short week after playing a really tough game with the Ravens to the opponent's house being a divisional away game. They're like 0-8. Crazy stat, right? And also Tomlin is like 0-5. If I still have it, I'll bring it up, but I don't know if I do. No, I've got the kickers. Oh, here, is this on it? No, that's the kickers. No, that's the kickers. I haven't got it, but it was up there before, right? So we're not the best team to go into a divisional house and play away. It's like 0-8, and Tomlin is 0-6. So yes, Tomlin needs to get it better. Do we want to fire Tomlin? Some will. At this point now, I'm fucking over it. Some people want to fire Tomlin, but Tomlin got you to 8-2. Some people want to fire Tomlin. I'm fucking over it. You can have your opinion if you want to, but if we're at the bar together, I'd say, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, why? He got you there to 8-2. Just because you have one bad game doesn't mean you got to fire Tomlin. Also, you're not going to fire Tomlin in the middle of the season. They will say that Tomlin plays down to his opponents. I already know it. They're going to say this. Tomlin plays down to his opponents. Tomlin wasn't ready for this game. Tomlin should be fired. There's no way he can win a playoff game. It's going to go on and on and on and on and on. But it was really sweet. It was really sweet when it was a 5-game win streak. And yes, the Cleveland Browns played tough football, ran the rock well. Jameis Winston played good football, getting his tight ends open, finding Jerry Jeudy raw running around the shop going crazy, getting the third down to finish the game, and they allow the TD to win the game 24-19. When we play them again, not if, when we play them again in 2 weeks' time, at our house, you might see a different result. You'll see the Steelers play them tough in our house, and we could win the game 27-19 or 28-16, right? This game was up in the air near the ending moments where if they do not shank that punt, then they move them down to 20. We can win that game with defense 19-18. So people might call out, call us Waitman. He needs to be sacked. He needs to be fired. Respectfully, you don't know what you're talking about. If you want to cut a punter who's been doing so well on teams all year, filling in for Cameron Johnson, and one game he has one bad kick, and you want to get rid of him, respectfully, you don't know what you're talking about. Do I know what I'm talking about? I'm a guy from Australia. You let me know in the comments below. Anyways, that's it, guys. That's a summarization of that. Steelers lose with respect to Cleveland Browns, 24-19. They play us really tough. We didn't play. This is probably our worst game all season in terms of first quarter, second quarter, scoring 3 points, couldn't move down the field, couldn't move the ball. Penalties killed us, missed field goals, you name it. We did it, right? It was a really bad attempt, and the Steelers weren't ready to be matching the physicality with the Cleveland Browns. They just weren't ready to match the physicality. They were stepping up, playing good run defense, and tackling Russell Wilson to the ground. So with respects to the Browns, they played good football. We lost. Now what we do is we take it in. We be mad for a day, day and a half, few hours. I'll be mad for like 1 hour. 1 hour. I'll be mad for an hour, and then I'll move on. I've already kind of moved on. We're 8-3. We're still leading the AFC North. Be mad as long as you want, and realize in 11 days' time, 10 days' time, we now have this weekend off. We play the Bengals next in that gauntlet. The Bengals and Browns for a revenge game to go back in front 9-3, to go back in front 10-3. It's very hard to win all your games, go 17-0 like the Miami Dolphins. Very, very tough to do that in the NFL. You are going to lose games. The Chiefs lost a game the other day. Now, Mike Tomlin, in my opinion, he's still in the running for Coach of the Year. One loss like this does not mean he cannot win Coach of the Year. Go and finish out 4 or 5, 6 wins and get yourself back in contention for the number one AFC seed. Get yourself back in contention to lead the North and win the AFC North and see how you go from there. In terms of firing Coach Tomlin, I'll see those comments. They're absolutely ludicrous. There's no value to them. People just write fire Tomlin, and there's no meaning behind that anymore. It's lost its meaning. It means absolutely nothing. I'll see you later.